J-O-E in the place to be. HB on the track, it's like ecstasy. Rolling a well of 7 years, what we drink and be. Trying to sling the dopest rhymes in the galaxy. Let me take a minute though and relax your mind. Sometimes these words can be hard to find. 24/7 on that daily grind. Hearing voices in my head, man, they not that kind. Cause bitches be bitching, snitches keep snitching. The world keeps turning, and I keep hitching a ride instead of living my life. Yo, 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 yo.
Man, when you feel hungry, don't you have to eat?
Yo, yo, pump up the volume and digest this beat.
RapScallions in the house with this lyrical treat.
When we're done with you, you're gonna ice your feet.
If the world ends tomorrow and you had one chance,
Hey, yo, would you start the move like it's your last dance?
yo, do something small in the past and present changes.
Do something now, the future rearranges.
Cause bitches keep bitching.
Yo, snitches keep snitching.
The world keeps turning.
And you start living your life instead of hitching a ride. RapScallions.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome, episode 45. That's a big number, man. We're getting close to 1 year. My name is HB Tui, and the other half of the RapScallions right next to me, Jose Mesquita. What's up, Joe?
What's up, HB? How you doing, man? It's good to be here with you once again, episode 45. Man, I can't believe it. It's almost going to be a year into this.
Yeah.
It's
good. We got big things coming this year. We're not going to tell you all about them, but you can stay tuned because we'll be rolling out more developments as they come. Today's episode is about the beautiful, the pearl of the Isthmus, Taboga.
Taboga, man. Yeah, dude. I think as usually happens whenever we're talking about different topics related to Panama, there's always so much more than meets the eye, man. And I think just like getting to know Taboga a bit more this week and just reading about Taboga.
We had a nice excursion this week.
We did indeed, man. We did, and just getting to know more and more about Taboga, and I'm just like, whoa, all these things happened here. How incredible!
Yeah,
how incredible.
Well, let's get started. We're going to start off with our weekly Rapping with RapScallions weekly wrap-up.
Yes.
How was your week, Joe?
Indeed. My week. How was my week? My week was a heavy week. It's a heavy week. We have Captain Andy. He says, cheers. I'm navigating around Taboga now.
Sweet.
Whoa. Good stuff, man. Hope you're having some smooth sailing. No, it was a good week, man. A busy week, to be honest. Sometimes it's just like, you just kind of jump from weekend to weekend. At least that's what I feel myself doing sometimes. From Monday to Friday, I'm just trying to stay afloat. And then when Friday afternoon rolls around, it's like, it's Friday. Now I can accomplish all the things that I'm meant to accomplish as a person on a personal level. So no, it was good. Just busy days at work, obviously. And then in the afternoons, trying to stay active, man. Ever since we had Rudy Waller on, I think it's been like, hey, got to keep it moving, dog. Got to keep it moving.
Yeah.
So
for those of you that missed it, scroll down, go to PanamaRP.com. That's the best place. That's our website.
Yes.
There's little icons where you can pick your social media of choice. You check out. We can also buy some cool merch. Look at this awesome merch. I've been wearing my shirt everywhere. And I'm kind of surprised, Joe. I'm surprised that we didn't get mobbed when people saw the RapScallions logo. I was totally expecting to get mobbed and to have to give out signatures and sign boobs and stuff, but it didn't happen. But
I know, man.
It's okay. People respecting our privacy.
Our privacy, because as celebrities as well, we also are normal people.
Yeah.
Who want to do normal things, like grab a coffee or have dinner. Those types of things.
Get a little din.
That's right.
What
about you, man?
This week was exciting. We were preparing for that excursion out to Taboga, and setting up for that was super cool. Getting the team ready, and we decided just to go roll that into our show on Sunday because, as you said earlier, the more Panama has such amazing history, and you don't have to dig that far to find amazing stories. So
no, man,
we got a show packed of information. So as far as the weekly wrap up, was there anything big in current events that we need to talk about? I think there's a little upscale up in Chiriquí regarding COVID, right?
Oh, yeah. There's been an increase of cases in Chiriquí and in Veraguas. So, of course, for those of you that are listening in from those provinces, you, of course, cannot go out on Sundays anymore. And you have a much stricter curfew than the ones that we have in, the other provinces around the country. It is from 8 p.m. to 4 a.m., which I guess just saying that takes me back to all those months ago when we had that exact same curfew. So hopefully with the measures that are in place now in Chiriquí and Veraguas, we will be able to get cases down. And as more and more people get vaccinated, hopefully we will be able to get this thing under control. Because if not, I think we're going to have another surge. Because keep in mind, we still haven't had our third wave here in Panama. In the whole country, everyone around us has had their third wave, and it's been pretty insane.
Right.
And we haven't had ours yet. So, some people are saying it's coming. Some people are saying it's not because our vaccination campaign is so efficient. I don't know, man. Only time will tell.
Well, there's another thing that you probably want to keep your eye on, and that's inflation, Joe.
Most definitely, man. Most definitely. Because you know why, HB?
Why?
Because sometimes you got to make sure your investments are ready to fight inflation, dude. Because inflation is a pain in the backside. Because before you know it, things are getting more expensive, and you're like, man, ya la plata no me rinde. No me rinde. I can't buy things anymore. So when you're investing your money, man, you got to make sure that it's ready to handle all the inflation that may come your way. And by doing that, you do that by getting a good advisor. And there's no better advisor out there than Luke Robertson, financial advisor over at Edward Jones. So, if you're investing your money, man, and you want to make it last for you, you want to make it something sustainable, give Luke a call. You can reach him over at 757-481-0023, 757-481-0023, or you can send them an email. And that's over at luke.robertson@edwardjones.com. And he will set you on the path to get your investments ready and healthy to fight inflation all day long.
That way you're rinding más.
That's right, man. That's right.
Rindiendo más.
Rindiendo más. The way I see it, man, your money is like Rocky Balboa and Luke is like Apollo Creed. And you're running with him on the beach, man. You're running. That's right. Your money's running with Luke on the beach. And then your money's like, I'm strong. And then they hug passionately as the waves crash.
Hugs. It's beautiful. Right. It's a beautiful thing. It's beautiful when your money is working for you. So, Joe, after that wonderful shout out to our sponsor, where do we start talking about Taboga? I mean, that's one of the first places that Vasco Núñez de Balboa, after he discovered the South Sea, that's one of the first places he went. He saw the island of Taboga, and he went out there and he stepped foot on it. I think that was in 15. You have the exact date on that?
I think it was in the 16th century, my friend. I'm trying to get the exact date. For some reason, I'm thinking 1517, but I could be lying. Let's just say 16th century for now.
Sure. That sounds pretty accurate. And if there's anyone out there that wants to be our research department, chime in, man, and tell us about your experiences out in Taboga.
1513, my friend.
Very good. Very good. See, our research department is killing it today.
On point, dude. HB, wait, before we go into the history of Taboga, tell me what your first experience in Taboga was like, man. Because I know we visited it together on Friday. It was a beautiful thing.
Oh, it was great. And it brought back a lot of great memories. So my earliest memories is that, that was back when there was a big Zonian presence and a big military presence. And it was very cost effective to go out there on the ferry. The whole family could go out there in the morning, or go out for the weekend and stay. There was the Taboga Hotel out there on the point, and I just remember being a kid and just getting roasted in the beautiful tropical sun.
Right.
And I remember that we went to the wall on El Moro, the sandbar, and then on El Moro there's like that wheel there, that gear. I remember climbing all over that death trap.
Oh man, and you didn't get any cuts or bruises or anything?
Oh, man, we were tough, man.
Oh
tough
man,
kids.
Tonka tough.
We don't have time for cuts, Joe.
Man, that wheel looks like it's been here. That gear looks like it's been there for ages, like long
Hundreds of
before.
years,
Yeah,
200
man.
years or something. I don't know.
Seriously, man. So you have like a long history with Taboga then?
I do. I remember actually had a birthday party out there.
No way. You're jiving.
Yeah. My parents took a bunch of my friends out and we had our birthday party right there on the beach in Taboga. Very, very fond memories of that island. And the captain of the boat, when we were driving around the island on Friday, I was like, "Oh, this beach is El Hobo Beach, right?"
Mm-hmm.
He's like, "Are you Tabogan? How do you know so much about the island?" I was like, "Taboga, in my opinion, Taboga is one of the most undiscovered and most unexploited tourism destinations in all of Panama. It's close to the city. It's easy to get to. It's very quaint when you're walking around, and there's just so much history. So my earliest recollections of Taboga are just, I mean, we went out there a lot, We would stay there. I think I told you when we were there. It's actually happening this year again. Is the locusts are coming out of their hibernation?
Yes.
We were there, and it was like the plagues of Egypt, dude. It was we were covered. You're just playing cards, and you've got a cicada on your face, and
right.
It was pretty insane.
Man, that's crazy, man. That is insane.
And you just live with it, and you're walking, you're trying to shuffle, because if you take steps, you're Captain Crunching some cicadas.
Yeah. But it's part of the experience, right? Part of the island, Taboga Island experience.
Oh, yeah. Part of the experience. I wouldn't have changed it for anything. We got a big laugh out of it, too.
Yeah.
Our family, all you have to mention is the killer cicadas, and everyone starts laughing about what a great time we had. In spite of that overwhelming surge of nature.
Yeah. It was like some sort of biblical plague descending upon your vacation.
Yeah, it was pretty epic.
Oh, that's crazy, man. That's insane.
What about you?
I actually didn't have my first Taboga experience. I think, since I lived in the US since I was very, very young, I don't remember ever having been to Taboga before we left. But I think upon coming back, it was probably, of course, I lived in Chiriquí for a while, and then it was after I moved to the city. I think probably just going there one weekend with friends, just to like spend a day, and kind of it was exciting, right? Because you're like, oh my god, getting on a ferry. It's only like a 25-30 minute ride over there, and then just kind of hanging out and kicking it, and then just kind of walking around and just getting to see. I mean, I totally agree that it's one of those things where you would expect, since it is so beautiful and so easily accessible, for the infrastructure to be a bit better, I guess. But I think that's part of the reason why it has that charm that it still has, is just because it doesn't feel commercialized. Like, it's not one of those things where you're just like, there's a McDonald's on Taboga and there's a Wendy's on Taboga.
I think you hit the nail on the head, because it's got that quaint island feeling,
Yes.
Everyone's super friendly. Remember, we're saying hi to everyone, and as soon as we got back to the city, we're saying hi to everyone. They're like, whatever.
They're like, screw you guys. Who do you think you are saying hi to me?
Yeah.
Hey, that Taboga, so did you ever, when I got there, the first time I ever went, so it was still the ruins of the Taboga Hotel were there already. And of course now that's kind of like been taken over by like little shops and little restaurants and little things. So did you actually ever see the Taboga Hotel in operations? Like, was it nice?
Yeah, we stayed there.
Oh yeah.
Ya me tiré la cédula, loco. Hey, we got a big shout out from Captain Andy. He's like, do you remember the outdoor movie theater? He said that I don't remember it, but he says that the army station out there ran the movie at the end of the road.
How cool. I was reading about that in one of the articles about Taboga, that there was actually an outdoor movie theater, because I guess since there was a strong U.S. military presence on the island, it must have, during that time at least, it must have brought about a lot of, it must have boosted the economy. It must have just brought a lot of much more sort of entertaining things to do, such as an outdoor movie theater. That's insane, dude.
Yeah. I mean, that's part of the history we need to go over as well, is the U.S. military influence, occupation, whatever you want, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's well, we'll talk about that as we go down the timeline. Very interesting.
For sure.
Yeah, Andrew, Captain Andy says I'm dating myself. He said it was in the 70s that in the 70s is when they had that outdoor theater. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got a shout out here from Mike Bolton, Silent Hunter. He says that's a fun beach.
Yeah.
Over at Taboga, man. That's crazy. So it seems like a lot of people have a lot of history, a lot of knowledge about Taboga, at least about what it was back in the day, man. I think one of the things that surprised me the most arriving was just the abundance of tiny boutique hotels.
Yeah.
In the island. They're everywhere. It's incredible.
Right. So if you're, as we open up a little bit more, please take into consideration some internal tourism. You don't have to go overseas to find something amazing. It's right in our backyard here in Panama.
Beautiful hotels.
Come to Panama, yeah, absolutely beautiful, and a little bit in every price range too. Not just you got everything from fancy to, if you just want somewhere to lay your head, so that you have more time exploring the island. You have that too, and you can also just go out for the day. A lot of my friends, what we do is we'll all pitch in. And for their birthday, we'll get a yacht, and then, everyone throws in $30 or something like that. And you'll go and you'll head over and you'll anchor in the bay of the Taboga, in the anchorage there, and just party your little brains out. And if you want, you swim in, you go to the island, grab a meal, swim back out. It's a lot of fun. So, and it's close to the city.
Yep, totally recommended. All right, HB, so we dive into Taboga, and let's take a road trip through history, man. Before we start, though, just a quick overview on Taboga. It's part of the Isla Taboga. So there's several islands out there. I think it's like 10 main islands and a dozen of smaller ones. And Taboga is the largest of the islands in that area. I think it's about 571 hectares, and currently around 1,400 people live on the island. This is an estimate, of course. And it is connected to Isla Morro by a sandbank that you already mentioned, HB. And of course, when the tide comes up, Isla Morro is there all alone. And Isla Morro is approximately 1 square hectare. And as far as I'm aware, nobody lives on Isla Morro.
There's a ghost that lives there, but we'll talk about that later.
Ghost that lives on Isla Morro. And it's interesting that it is considered its own island, even though it is in fact connected to Taboga by the sandbank. But there you go, independence for all, man.
Yeah,
be free.
Yeah. Some of the other islands around it are Taboguilla, Uraba, Melones, Otoque.
Taboga Island is around there as well, right?
Taboguilla.
Yeah. Yeah. Taboga's next to Contadora. True that.
Yeah. And then you have Otoque and Otoque Oeste, Bona. And I think that completes the Taboga Island chain.
Yeah. So a bunch of different islands, with Taboga being sort of the main one there, the center of attention, I guess. And I think it is possible to go and do different day trips to the different islands around there. And just to have a good time, kick it.
Fishing, a lot of fishing.
Yes. Fishing, you can do bird watching, you can do whale watching. From what we understand, you can catch some amazing whales. We didn't see any whales when we went on Friday, unfortunately. We were looking for them.
Yeah, we're looking for them, and we called them up. We're like, dude, we're not in the area. We should be back in that area probably around July. That's when you see them. And as far as whale watching goes, the success rate is pretty high in the Bay of Panama if you go at the right time. I think they have an 85% success rate, and that's, if you Google it, you'll find out that's a pretty good chance of seeing a whale.
Yeah, man. Whales are incredible creatures. And I guess what else can you do around there, HB? You can, of course, the whale watching, boat tours, bird watching, snorkeling, fishing, paddleboarding, which is a big thing now as well. Yeah, the fishing. People love to fish. I went fishing around there before the pandemic. I didn't catch anything, but the buddies I was with, they caught stuff, so that was good. And fishing though, hey, if the fish ain't biting your rod, what can you do, man?
That's why they call it fishing and not catching.
That's right. So I mean, if you don't catch anything, it's not your fault.
No, the fish might have been busy that day.
They were busy, man. So there you go, man. But it's a wonderful place to go and spend the day. You can even get lobsters in Taboga. We've heard that there's a lot of delicious lobsters around Taboga.
Mm-hmm.
I myself have never tried a Tabogan lobster. Have you, HB?
I can't recall. I'm sure I have, but I'm sure they're tasty. Those shrimps that you got were pretty good, though.
Oh, yeah. I did have some langostinos. They were delicious. They were top-notch. I have been dreaming about them all week. I said, after the week I've had, I deserve a tasty langostino al ajillo. And I'm sure your ceviche was good, too. It looked fresh.
Very good.
It looked funky fresh.
Ice cold beer and a ceviche. My goodness, that hit the spot. We walked everywhere. What was your Fitbit count by the end of the day?
By the end of the day, when I left your flat in Casco, it said 22 kilometers. 22 kilometers. So we almost ran
north,
a half
south,
marathon.
east, and west.
We saw everything and everyone on that island.
Yeah. So, it's a great place for a day tour. You can go at the site of the old hotel. They've set up little stands like artesanías.
Mm-hmm.
You can buy food there. You can buy drinks. You can rent an umbrella, some lawn chairs and umbrella, and just sit on the beach all day. They have public bathrooms. You pay, I think it was 50 cents to go to the bathroom, and they have showers and everything. And right at the entrance, we met a nice lady. The name of her place was Las Almendras. We got frituras. And
Delicious.
when I say frituras, delicious frituras.
Top-notch quality.
Yeah.
That's
that
right.
started our day there.
And just so you guys are aware, the ramp to go up into the pier, if you haven't experienced, if you remember the old one, it was pretty challenging. Now it's quality.
It's quality. Yeah.
You don't have
it's
to
not
fear that
janky
you're
anymore.
you're not gonna fall. Trust me. You can go in peace. And they have all the biosecurity measures when you get there, of course. As soon as you walk up the pier, take a temperature, get the alcohol in your hands, bap, 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 you're ready to go.
Listo y frito, as they say in Panama.
That's right. So yes, my friend, what's up?
Yeah. I didn't mean to cut you off, but yeah, I mean, they have the stands, the hotels, there's restaurants, and the one thing they got right is everywhere serves ice cold beer, man, because that sun and that beer, they go together.
And it was a hot day when we went on Friday, guys. It was super hot, super humid. More than anything, I think I felt like I lost 25 pounds. My head, I normally wear a hat. That day I didn't wear a hat. It was red because of the sun. Yeah. So HB lent me his hat so that my noggin would stay safe.
My gray hair isn't exactly blocking isn't exactly blocking the sun.
All that UV radiation is protected. Your head is protected.
Yeah.
So yes, my friend. So shall we dive now into the history of Taboga? Again, I think we're going to talk about a lot of different things. There's so many different things that have happened on Taboga over the years. It is incredible, I think, as we mentioned earlier, that it is not a much more sort of developed and explored place. But maybe that's a blessing in disguise because, like I said, I don't think we'd want to roll up there and see McDonald's, Wendy's, Starbucks, Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf, shopping mall, the Taboga shopping mall, smack dab in the center of Taboga. No, not at all. Not at all.
Yeah. And, there's religion is very strong on the island. Every 5 steps, you'll see a statue of the Virgin Mary.
Yes,
I think Santa Maria la Antigua is the patron of Isla Taboga. And as we go through history, you'll see why Taboga is such a venerated area for the Catholic Church.
That's right. All right, HB, let's kick us off once again. I think so. We're talking about Vasco Núñez de Balboa. All right, and I think we agree that he arrived on Taboga. I'm not going to say he discovered because it was already there. So he arrived on Taboga in 1513, and he was the first Spaniard to set foot there. And as soon as he landed on there, he was like, I am going to call this place the island of San Pedro. That is what he called it. And then it wasn't until a couple of years later, well, I think maybe it was a long time afterwards, actually, like 450 years later, it was renamed the island of Taboga with Aboga, meaning, which is a term used by the indigenous communities. It's called many fish. You can find many fish around Taboga, so they called it Taboga because of the many fish. And I think a lot of the people, the residents of Taboga, they still work in fishing and fisheries and going out and just catching fish and everything like that.
True.
For
and
sure.
if you scroll down and rewatch our Panama show, Panama is also supposed to be called. It was named that because of the abundance of fish, also abundance of butterflies, and also mudfish.
Mudfish. Yeah. That was one of the best reasons. We're the mudfish people.
Right.
That's why we're so popular all over the world. Because of the mudfish.
So, Taboga or Balboa, instantly realized the value of Taboga. It sat right in the Bay of Panama, from Panama City. That was a mud flats area, and then a lot of the you take smaller boats out to Taboga, and this will be repeated through history. You take smaller boats out to catch your main boat in Taboga.
And from there, you would depart to wherever you were going to go. And of course, I think this is what a lot of when we talked about the Tajada de Sandia, a lot of the people, that were involved in that incident, they were waiting to catch their boat to get out to Taboga, right?
Exactly. So just keep in mind, we're on the Taboga's on the Pacific side. So back in the Spaniards' day, they would cross the isthmus from Nombre de Dios over Fort San Lorenzo. You had Camino Real, and then you had Camino Las Cruces, where you go up the Chagres River, and then right around Gamboa area, you would catch the mule train over to Panama City, and from Panama City, you take a boat out to Taboga.
That's right. So HB, in Taboga, of course, we're going to have a lot of Spanish influence in Taboga. Just reading through this, I remember thinking like, man, the Spanish were actually able to like get a stranglehold on, because they were attacked by so many different types of people.
Yeah.
Yet they still managed to maintain control of Taboga. Again, it's one of those things where, and it's still evident in some of the buildings there, the architecture and all that. It would have been incredible to see what would have happened if say some of those English privateers or whoever, French or whatever, would have been like, nope, we're taking this from you, Spain, and then maybe we'd all be speaking English.
Dutch, Spaniard, all the piratas or buccaneers or whatever you want to call yourself, the pillagers of the time.
That's right. Nasty people.
Yeah. But in addition to the founding of San Pedro, which is the actual island, the name of the city on the island of Taboga, they erected a church, and let's see, in 1524, Padre Hernando de Luque, dean of the Panama Cathedral, he built a church out there, and lo and behold, it is is considered the second oldest church in the Western Hemisphere. The oldest one being on the island of Saboga in the Perlis.
Wow, look at that, man! That's insane, dude.
Yeah.
And it is still standing. It is still standing. People still go there to pray. We tried to get in there, but we couldn't get in there because they open at noon to pray at noon, and then they close it again, and then they open again at 3 to pray at 3. Yeah. And unfortunately, it didn't match our schedule, but it is still there, still standing. Definitely a beautiful, incredible, historic place to go and visit, without a doubt.
Indeed. And so, when we look at it from modern times, the conquer of South America, it was a point of pride, but now we look at it as more of a massacre. It's a kind of a dark spot on our history. So when you think of the conquest of Peru, you think of Fernando Pizarro.
That's right.
And the last place, their last blessing that they got before, they're very, very religious. The last blessing before they went and what they considered to be the world of heathens, of animals and stuff. So the last blessing that they would get before they took off is in that church, by Padre Hernando de Luque. So, I mean, when next time you're out there, you just consider that Pizarro kneeled there and got his blessing, and then went and conquered the Mayan, the Inca Empire.
Inca Empire, dude. That is crazy. Can you imagine? I mean, I guess they felt they were doing something right, I guess, at the time. But I mean, how insane, that if I'll be like HB, hey, I blessed you. Now go and kill a bunch of people.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, go take over this area by any means necessary.
Uh-huh.
Just pillage, completely pillage, get the gold.
How insane, man! How insane! But I thought I didn't know that before. I thought that was really cool. Just that fact, not that it happened, but the fact that Taboga had this sort of special place in these situations that shaped the world. And just the fact that some of these ruins, some of these buildings, they're still around there. So when you're there, for all intents and purposes, man, you're walking in history. You're taking the same steps that all of these influential people of the time took. That's insane.
I've kind of been sleeping on the comments here. We got a lot of shout outs to do, Joe. I think the people are enjoying the show.
Shout it out.
Pedro Peñaver says Hulk. Okay, so that's his experience of Taboga, was hulking out.
Oh wow!
We went out there for a birthday party. We had a lot of good times. So I know what you're talking about, Pedro. Luke Robertson has tuned in. Remember, guys, if you guys want some sound financial and investment advice, talk to Luke. He's the one that told us how to do this stuff. He's like, guys, you need to get on the merch. Now we got the merch. Thanks, Luke. And now he's also been helping us by be a sponsor. So make sure if you need some financial advice to call him up.
That's right.
Andrew, Captain Andy. Yeah, he says, I saw a whale shark off Tabogia. I've always wanted to see a whale shark. That
must be incredible.
Huge animals.
For sure.
It says Sawfish Point. Luke Robertson says Tabogia had a fish plant. Ras, it stunk up the place. He's like, yeah. Captain Andy says, yes, Luke, that south wind would bring the stink to town. Sue Norman is tuned in. Hey, Sue, how you doing? She's very happy with her RapScallions t-shirt.
Yeah.
She says, hola, so glad to be with you today. We're very happy that you're with us today. And we're glad that you're all tuned in. Dorita Avila says they have frituras right by the pier in little houses now. Hojaldras. Yep, that's exactly what we got. We got I say hojaldras. Some people, you say hojaldres. I say hojaldras.
I mean, they're still delicious.
They're delicious. The crew had, Joe and the rest of the team had hojaldres with salchicha guisado.
Yeah.
And I had some chicharrón, which was fried just like an hour earlier. So super crispy.
To perfection.
Delicious stuff. Sue Norman says, thanks for the merch. You're very welcome. Very welcome.
Yeah, man. Incredible stuff. So now you guys know Sue has her merch. So you guys got to step your game up and get the merch before
it's your merch too. PanamaRP.com. You can get a t-shirt. You can get a tote. Show them that tote, Joe. I've been using it so much. I love it.
Check out this tote. It has these straps, man. You can put it through your shoulder, over your shoulder. It has space on the inside to carry your books. I carry books in there. I carry important documents that I want to keep safe from the elements, man. Let me tell you something, man. It's an amazing tote bag.
If Fernando Pizarro had a tote like that, I'm sure he would have taken it to Peru.
Man, he would have taken it, and he would have carried all his gold in there. All of his gold.
Yeah, all of it.
All of the gold, man. True that.
So along with Pizarro, there was another. What was the name of the other conquistador? Here it is. Diego de Almagro.
Almagro, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. They would just take off from there, man. They would get their blessing, and they would bounce. off to go and conquer the Incas.
Yeah.
Incredible. And I think it's
So-
also good to mention, HB, that I think the earliest settlers of Taboga were from Venezuela and Nicaragua. And they were enslaved indigenous Indians who had been brought to the island to serve the need of the Spanish conquistadors. Man, the Spanish conquistadors really rolled up like, I deserve all of this.
They rolled up hard, man.
What the
That's-
heck?
Yeah, please, guys, go back and watch the Panama City episode because we went all over the the conquistadors.
Oh my
you
god!
know, the founding of Panama City. You know, let's see, Balboa actually and Pizarro, one of the few Indians that they could never conquer were the ones led by Huraca, which is found on the Panamanian penny. That's a fascinating story. We could do a whole episode on that.
True that, man.
Pizarro actually went into battle. He went in with his troops into a battle in Panama. And when he found out that Huraca was the leader, he turned around and went home. And then he got blessed at the church in Taboga, went down to Peru, and took over the whole Inca Empire. So, Fuerza Panama, Huraca.
Yep. True that, man. Seriously. He was like, sorry, man, I'm not going to take that guy on. He's too tough.
Yeah.
No.
We got to dig. We got to do some research and do a show on him. He's an amazing leader.
Well, apparently, HB, it was until like I think 1549, which was when the Spaniards were done with their colonization of Taboga, because Panama freed its slaves, its indigenous slaves, and a lot of them chose to make Taboga their home.
Okay.
And apparently, it seems here that they built a fort on Isla Morro to protect Taboga and its bay.
Right.
So I guess Isla Morro, from what we heard on our trip, there's a cemetery there and some other stuff. It was like an important location. Now, of course, it's just kind of jungle.
Right. It's overgrown, but that was like a good lookout. You put your lookouts there on Isla Morro, and then they could wave the flag or toot the horn when some kind of invasion tried to make its way onto the island.
True that,
which
man.
we'll bring up a bit later, right? There were some attacks.
For sure.
Now here's something my dad had always told me, and I never quite believed him. I was like, Dad, you're just making that up. But he told me that the famous Hawaiian pineapples that are super famous today were transplanted from the island of Taboga.
No way, dude.
And as we found out on our trip on Friday, it's true. They call it the piña blanca. It's like a white flesh pineapple, very sweet. So one of the most sought after in the whole world. Back in the day, not so much anymore, but the cultivation of pineapples was very, very important in that time. And Taboga had the best pineapples.
Man, and I think right now they currently grow them, but they don't grow them to like
for export.
Yeah, exactly. So it's only for like, I guess, internal consumption. Yeah.
Right. For your personal garden, you have your little pineapple patch there.
Yeah. That's crazy, man. And we didn't have any pineapples when we went on Friday. I think we kind of fell asleep on that one, man. We should have looked for some pineapples.
We're gonna have to go back then.
Seriously. It would have been funny though if we buy a pineapple and then when they give it to us, it has a sticker on it that says like imported from Hawaii or something, man. We're like, no, I want a Tabogan pineapple, damn it. Then to make my 20-minute boat ride over here to get some pineapple from Hawaii. Man.
Another very important fruit in Taboga is the tamarindo. When on the walk to the beach, where the old hotel was, where the ruins of the hotel are now, and all those shops, all the trees on either side that create this nice shade are all tamarindo trees. And if you are a fan of poetry, you can look up all the poems that were written, and let's see. Here, this one, Los Tamarindos de Taboga by Eduardo Maduro. Several poems have been dedicated to the tamarind trees in Taboga, said to be the sweetest in all of Panama.
Oh, word! And we didn't have tamarindos either, man. We totally like dropped the ball, dude.
We did. We're gonna have to go back.
Because seriously, we cannot be somewhere that has such lush and delicious fruit, and we're just like, you know what I came to get here? Some frituras.
Right, we got hojaldres, but we didn't get any tamarindo or any pineapples.
Seriously, man, where's our head at? I don't know. But we'll be ready. We'll be ready next time we go. We'll be ready. And that's a fact, dude. That's a fact.
Hey, Elver Renfro's tuned in. He's like, "What's up from Washington? What's up, Elver?" Elver and I played football. Hey, we did a whole show about American football in Panama. A lot of shout outs to the Red Machine. Scroll down on our Facebook page. You should be able to find that. We did that around Super Bowl time.
True that, man. That was a fun episode to do, man. A lot of people on there jiving each other, throwing shade.
Yeah, there's some ankle biting going on there between the various teams that tuned in, people who played from various teams that tuned in that day. That was a lot of fun.
For sure,
man. I think, in addition to the great seafood, you've got splendid fruits, tamarind and pineapple on the island. Some of the other natural beauties there is hiking. You can follow several trails. We were fortunate enough to run into many of the poison dart frogs.
We did.
We had a good time. Yeah, we had a good time trying to capture those pictures, and that was neat. When we were looking for them, there wasn't many signs or anything, but all of a sudden we looked down and there was one, and we were taking pictures of that. We're like, oh, cool. And then as we walked back towards the dock, because we had to leave, it was starting to rain. It's just, I don't know, my 15 or 20 of them started jumping around.
Yeah, man, there was a lot.
Yeah.
We never found any tarantulas, though, because there is a path that takes you up into the hills where supposedly in the same area where the frogs are, the tarantulas are, and they live in peace together. The tarantulas and the frogs. But we saw traces of tarantulas, but no tarantulas.
Right.
So we hope to see them once again later on.
There's a lot of hiking trails there. You have, I think the most well-known is Cerro La Cruz. Cerro La Cruz, what is it?
Cerro La Cruz.
Cerro La Cruz. It's about an hour and a half hike up and back. There's the trail for Tres Cruces.
Tres Cruces, yes.
So, and then there's also Cerro La Vigia. You hike all the way. That's the highest point on the island. And from there, you have a 360-degree view of all your surroundings, all of Panama City, all the beach area. You can see Punta Chame, Coronado, all the way down the coast.
Right.
And there's also a bunker up there from the U.S. military.
Hey, and supposedly there's a crystalline pool up there, which people refer to as the Bishop's Pool in honor of Hernando Luque.
Hernando Luque. He's the one that
Hernando
built the
Luque.
church, correct?
That's right, man. So I guess it's one of those things that if you go up there, man, of course, there's the awesome bunker, which I hope to get to see one day. There's apparently a crystalline pool in the folds of the Vigia. And they call it the Bishop's Pool in his name, in his honor.
Indeed. And on these trails, you're bound to see all types of different wildlife. Now, if you're looking at Panama, if you're looking at Taboga from Panama, the town of San Pedro is kind of cradled as you face the island. And then you think of the mountain ridge there. Everything on the other side of the ridge is a preserve for ocean migrating birds. Specifically, I think is the brown pelican.
That's right. Yeah.
So there's bird watching to be done there, and on the ocean side, there's also caves. Maybe you get lucky, you find some pirate loot.
Supposedly, there's a lot, man.
Yeah, and when you think of gold, you think pirates. A lot of history with pirates as well.
True that, man. True that. And I guess if we're gonna talk about pirates, man, I think it is essential that we mention a pirate that was so influential in the history of Panama City. And this, of course, is the Welsh buccaneer Henry Morgan.
Excellent name.
Yes, indeed, Henry. I mean, I think all the Henrys that I know are either geniuses or mass murdering pirates, one or the other.
Or
One or
a
the
mix
other.
of the two.
Or a mix of the two, mass murdering geniuses.
How about genius pirates that don't murder?
Genius pirates that don't murder. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, man. Not only that Morgan plundered Panama City, he also plundered Isla Taboga. Later on in the 16th century, man, there were a lot of pirates that came to Taboga in search of gold, pearls, and the other types of booty that pirates want to find.
Yes.
And in 1671, after he sacked Panama City, he sent his pirates to the island with the instructions to burn everything to the ground and bring back all the gold, silver, and merchandise.
All the merch. You know, would have been some good merch for old. He was. You know what he was looking for? He was looking for RapScallions merch. That's what Henry Morgan was looking for. But when he didn't find it, he's like, "I want everything burned to the ground."
He wants everything burned to the ground.
Gone.
We have contradicting information. HB Aquilino says Morgan didn't plunder Taboga. He lived there.
Oh,
I don't know, man. I think Taboga was like a Spanish stronghold. Wasn't it? I think so.
hey, more research needs to be done.
More research needs to be done. Aquilino, please tell us your sources, because as far as we're aware, there were a bunch of Spaniards there, and I don't think Welsh people and Spanish people got along during that time.
Maybe he sprained his ankle and had to go and
rest,
put his foot up in the air. Let's see. I found something. It says that there's an article by the LA Times saying that Morgan's treasure, he did resupply on Taboga. While on Taboga to resupply, his band had burned and looted Old Panama in 1671. They celebrated so heartily that they let a galleon full of gold slip away. And
maybe like he wrote like Henry Morgan was here, and then it slipped away, and then an explorer came around later and said, "Yo, Henry Morgan was here. He lived here." I don't know.
There is a cemetery on El Morro. We were going to visit it, but we were told that it's completely overgrown. But that cemetery dates back to the days of Henry Morgan's visit to the island, whether he looted it or stayed there, or a combination of the two.
Yeah.
What was that? 1671, you said?
1671. Yeah, in 1671, after Morgan sacked Panama City. And a lot of pirates buried their gold around Taboga. So who's to say it could have been a lot of these, British pirates, French pirates, Dutch pirates, all the pirates, because it's an island and that's where pirates like to bury their treasure. But you know what? HB in 1998, they were building the island's new health clinic, and 1,000 pieces of silver dating back to the 17th century were found.
Wow,
that's crazy.
Dug around and they found some pirate booty.
Pirate booty, man. Pirate booty. And Aquilino says, bring Hillary. She's a Taboga expert. We did. We checked. She's the one that told us that the pirates kept their booty on the island.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. So there we go, man. Henry Morgan. And there were a whole bunch of other pirates. And I think even that takes us to the Three Crosses, HB, because there was a later attack on the island by a guy by the name of John Illingsworth. And these invaders, they took Taboga, and the inhabitants ran up to the hills. And of course, we saw the hills, man. You can hide a lot of people up in those hills. And then 3 of these invaders were killed and buried by the villagers. And right now, where you see those 3 crosses when you're hiking up there, as the story goes.
Right. And there's 2 stories there.
There are 2 stories. That's right. So one of the stories is that those 3 invaders are buried there, and they were killed by the residents of Taboga.
An interesting point is the date of that attack by John Illingsworth was in the 1800s. I think it was 1806. And it surprised me. I was like, there was still pirating going on at that date.
Right.
And Illingsworth was a pirate based out of Argentina, I think. Someone out there correct me if I was wrong, but he was pillaging on behalf of South American countries.
Oh, look at that. So they were trying to get back what was taken from them. Basically,
Yeah.
I guess.
So the gold just goes north and south. I don't know.
Yeah. Looks like it, man.
While we were on the island, we did hear a very interesting alternate version of that, of the three crosses, and it was that there had been a crime committed on the island, and some fingers were pointed, and they pointed their fingers at some of their fellow inhabitants. And before the judge could arrive to make a decision on their guilt and to present the evidence, the villagers took measures into their own hands, and 3 people were killed out of vengeance for the crime, and that's where they were buried. Ooh.
That's right, man. Scary stuff. There's a lot of paranormal stuff associated with Taboga. And when we were walking around there speaking with some of the people that live on the island, they told us about witches and ghosts. And somebody said something about a dog that's always barking and all those types of things.
The ghost dog is on Isla El Morro. Someone had built their home, like the captain of the construction or whatever they were doing there, the excavation, had built their home on like just above sea level, and their family was there, and a boulder came and smashed the house, and the only person that survived was the little doggy. And to this day, hundreds of years later, that little doggy is still barking, looking for his masters. Spooky.
Wow. Wow. So, I mean, hopefully we can visit Taboga once again, and we're going to search for this dog.
Yeah.
And see if we can get him to come and join us for a cold beer.
We'll make him our bitch.
Yeah. Yeah. And then he'll be our ghost dog. And then if you bother us, we will send our ghost dog after you.
Luke Robertson wants to know ¿Y la Tulivieja? Well, Tulivieja is more towards the interior of Panama, but there are, similar stories. We actually did a show about the superstitions of Panama, and in our research, we found out that Tulivieja actually predates Spaniards. It's the same. It's called a waterside superstition, like La Llorona. That's where someone loses a baby or a child that is drowned in the waters, and then the ghost always finds itself by the waters looking for their little lost baby. Spooky.
Yep.
What are some of the other tales I think we heard of? There's a fish man, like a merman.
Yeah, like a merman.
That one's kind of weird.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know much about that, man.
There's not much documentation there that we could find, but we were told about the fish man of Taboga.
Has anybody seen the fish man of Taboga? If you have, let us know.
Yeah, I think that was Pedro Penaver when we went to party there. He must have seen or became the fish man of Taboga.
So now the legend is about him. Whoa.
So he fell into the water, and then he sank to the bottom, and his head hit a buried trident. As soon as that happened,
makes sense.
He was transformed into the fish man of Taboga.
Makes sense. And of course, he came out of the water covered in barnacles and stuff, and people were just like, "Uh-oh, fish man." HB, talking about the pirates again really quickly. It's really interesting because I've been thinking about the comment about Henry Morgan living on Taboga, and I do know through the research we did, I mean, there was a lot of information about English pirates frequenting the island. So Henry Morgan, Francis Drake, another well-known pirate who is supposedly, his body is somewhere.
Pirate Hawkins.
Pirate Hawkins. Hawkins as well. Yes, that's right. Yeah. I was like, what? Pirate Hawkins. Yes, Pirate Hawkins. There was loads of pirates, right? But so they would use the harbor as a base.
Right.
To like attack the Spanish ships and the town itself, or just to kind of like take their breath and restock on supplies. So I'm really confused because Taboga was an island that was commanded by the Spanish. is how I
Right.
understand it. It was constantly attacked, though, by all these guys who were trying to take it. So if I am in command of an island, I'm not going to let no English pirates, just roll up into my harbor and hang out.
Right.
So why did they do that?
Well, I think we need to reinforce the actual settings of the time. When we consider how much gold, silver, pearls, riches, sugar, the white gold, as it's called. Well, that's what they used to call white gold. Now it's something else.
And it wasn't around at that time, at least not in America.
You would think that the Spanish Empire would understand what a key location Panama is.
Yeah.
In our modern minds, we imagine huge military installations, but that just wasn't the case. If you guys want to hear a really cool song, you can listen to Panama City sang by Shorty and Slim and written by the RapScallions. That's us.
That's right.
It's a Calypso song. There wasn't that many people here. There was 100 people in Panama City. That does,
True.
And Fort San Lorenzo and Nombre de Dios were notoriously undermanned. And control went back and forth. The pirates would roll up, kick booty, steal booty, and when they were done, they would leave. So Panama was completely sacked. So maybe the guy hung out there. They had good time, good parties there. He's like, dude, the pineapples here, delicious. Let's chill out for a while.
But that's interesting, though, because I can see that where that's coming from. So I guess maybe the inhabitants of Taboga, they could see the boats in the harbor, but they were so understaffed that they were like, hey, there's some Spanish, there's some English pirate ships hanging out in the harbor, but we can't do anything about it.
I guess not. Like, what are you going to throw some rocks at them?
I know. So you're just kind of there waiting. You're just like, man, hopefully they don't come over and bother us.
Right. Yeah. And, the lawlessness of the times. I mean, I think it's hard for our modern upbringing to put us into that environment. It must have been completely different from anything that we can understand.
Yeah, true. And I guess it was just something that people lived with. I mean, they were like, hey, there's some guys that might kill us all in the water. Okay, that's fine. We'll worry about it when they actually come on shore.
Right. They're going to take everything and burn everything down. But more gold will be coming out of South America.
Yeah.
So
whatever. I mean, let's just deal with it, right?
Yeah.
HP, there was another famous person. I'm just mentioning it now because Aquilino has been mentioning it on the chat. And of course, I'm talking about HP, none other than Paul Gauguin, the famous post-impressionist French painter. HP, what do you know about him?
We're jumping several centuries up to.
Yes, we are.
The French construction era.
We might jump back though to some other stuff, but it just seemed like a good moment to talk about Paul.
Yeah, definitely. Very, very well known. Paul Gauguin. He was very good friends with Van Gogh.
No doubt.
And he was visiting Van Gogh before he came to Panama. He was visiting Van Gogh, and they had such a tumultuous friendship that when he left, this is one of the versions of the story. When he left, Vincent Van Gogh went a little cuckoo and cut his ear off.
I heard he'd also been smoking that smoke and
and he'd been drinking
that drink,
drinking the Green Fairy.
That's right.
But it was the visit from Paul Gauguin, and many historians think their intense friendship. They're both artists. When he left, that's what caused Van Gogh to cut his ear off. So, Gauguin came to Panama. He tried to work on the canal. Didn't make many wages. He went out to Taboga, which for the French canal was a sanatorium. Sanatorium. Yeah, sanitarium.
A place of healing.
Yes, right. You go and you chill out. If your malaria is acting up, you go out to Taboga, and those delicious pineapples and tamarindos will bring you right back to health, full of vitamins, ocean air, delicious fresh seafood. Yeah, and for being, it's a small island. The the weather is a little drier than I expected it to be. It's not as muggy as Panama City.
No, that's very true. And it was interesting because the people that would tell us that they can see that it hadn't rained that often there. I think when we rained there, it was probably like it was interesting that it rained while we were there. But they were saying that normally they just see the clouds pass over the city, but they don't affect them.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Even here in Costco, you can see maybe somewhere like Paitilla is getting complete downpour, or Albrook or something. Not a drop here in Costco.
Yeah, man. Costco's like an oasis away from the city, from the hustle and bustle of the city.
Getting back to Gauguin.
Aquilino's asking me if that's a Gauguin behind me. No, it is not. I wish it was, because if it was a Gauguin, then I would be a rich man.
That's right. We would be funding. Joe would be funding the show, and we would be thinking about how we want to retire, right, Joe?
That's right. We would be thinking how we want to retire, HB, because let me tell you something, man. When you retire, you got to let your 401k go to work for you, HB. You know, if you want to live your life like Gauguin in Taboga, just kicking it there, healing yourself, you got to make sure that your 401k is doing what it has to do. So, all you people listening, man, it doesn't matter where your employee-sponsored retirement plan is now. You got to schedule a review with an Edward Jones financial advisor to discuss your options, man. And let me tell you, there is no better financial advisor than Luke Robertson. That's right. Luke Robertson is the man. He can help you sort out your 401k and help you to live a life in retirement like you should, enjoying the best moments of your life. So if you want to get in touch with Luke, you can give him a call over at 757-481-0023, 757-481-0023, or send him an email, luke.robertson@edwardjones.com.
Well done, Joe. And it doesn't matter where you're at in the United States. Luke can help you out. Hey, Elver, you're out in Washington State, huh? Luke can help you out. Give him a call. Have a review of your 401k. Make sure that your investments are working against inflation. He'll set you up. Call him.
That's right.
So, we were talking about Gauguin. And so Gauguin had come to Panama. We have to describe the setting at the times.
Yeah.
When the French started work on the Panama Canal, they had great success in the Suez Canal. And so the whole country invested. I mean, when I say the whole country, even the poorest of people knew that it was a good investment because they believed in de Lesseps. So even the poorest of people bought stocks and bonds in the French Canal. There's so much opportunity to be had. Panama was in one of its many upcycles, and Gauguin had come to Panama, had worked, from what I understand, on the Panama Canal, and then he went to recover from an illness, from a malady on Taboga, and he loved it so much that he wanted to buy a house there, but he just couldn't afford it. And then it's from there that he went out to the South Pacific. I think it's Tahiti that he went to.
Yeah.
And so, but there are paintings of Panama by Pablo Gauguin. We do have a question from our artist, the person who makes all of our beautiful artwork, the beautiful and talented Carina Weber asks, where on Taboga did Paul Gauguin stay? Is there a house he stayed at that can be visited? The answer to that is a resounding yes. You can go to the house that Gauguin stayed at and painted at. And I mean, just walking through the streets of Taboga, you will, it's so quaint and colorfully painted like a tropical
paradise, man.
Tropical paradise. There's some more information here. I just didn't want to pass over. Okay.
But in short, the answer is yes. You can visit Paul Gauguin's house in Taboga.
There's also, as far as visiting famous houses,
Yeah.
you have the streets named after Pizarro and Omagre, the other conquistador. But
Almagro.
there's a very important Panamanian writer
Uh-huh.
that's from Taboga that you'll have to visit his house as well. It's right next to the church. Okay, I lost my place. Here we go. Rogelio Sinan.
Mm-hmm.
So he's a very famous Panamanian writer, and you can visit his house, and the house is dedicated to him and all the future writers of Panama. So you can go there, and also you can go to the house of Roberto Luis, who is a very famous Panamanian painter. And when you go to the Teatro Nacional and you look at the beautiful murals, those are all done by Roberto Luis. And we should do a show on the Teatro Nacional. That would
Oh
that
my
would
gosh,
be
yes.
yeah. We'll do a show so that we can explain all the meanings of the different murals. It's fascinating.
Oh my God, dude, yeah. Wow, so much history in the Teatro Nacional, the artwork in the Teatro Nacional, the amount of work that went into making it the gem that it is today. Wow, fantastic. Fantastic. And we should do a show on that. Urraca, Teatro Nacional. 2 topics
right.
we need to touch on.
Mark those down. If you guys have any ideas for shows, please let us know. And hey, Luke Robertson says, you guys crack me up. Hey, that's we if you
We're all
need
about laughing and learning. Laughing and
that's
learning.
right,
Man.
laughing and learning. If you need financial advice, you go to Luke Robertson. If you need history and comedy, you come to the RapScallions. And if you need RapScallions merch, you need to go to PanamaRP.com.
No doubt, right. Man. HB, I wanna like I was reading something really interesting about Taboga and the Panama Canal, and just about the role that it played throughout the French endeavor, and then ultimately when the U.S. sort of finished it up, right? So we were talking about how it was an island that was set up for people to kind of go and heal, right? So I mean, let's touch a little bit upon that history of the healing that can take place in Taboga, man. You can heal yourself. So in the 1880s, the French, man, they constructed a 50-bed, $400,000 retreat for their canal workers that were building the canal. All right. So now if you were feeling sick, if you were feeling ill, you went to Taboga to this 50-bed state-of-the-art location, or at the time it was a state-of-the-art location, where you could go and get yourself straight. This building was then taken over by the U.S. in 1905 and used as a rest and recuperation center for Panama Canal construction workers. All right. So then again, it carried on. It's like, you got to heal yourself. You got to go to Taboga. Maybe it's something in the air that heals people.
Yeah.
It must be in the air or in the water.
Yeah. In the water, the air, the delicious fruits, the seafood, the
seafood.
Odors from the fish processing plant.
I mean, I've heard that fish odors have healing properties.
It's true. They should make essential fish oils that you can put on your wounds. So, just to retouch on what you were saying about the French sanitarium. I don't know. I keep thinking of Scarface. He's like, I thought you would say sanitarium, not sanitation.
Healing place.
So, yeah, the healing house out in Taboga.
The healing house.
Yeah, just to take us back in time, remember that the doctors of the day thought that malaria and yellow fever were caused by swamp gases. And every good Panamanian knows about El Sireno. What is it called? El Serrano.
The Serrano ham. You don't want to touch the Serrano ham.
La Sirena.
That's right. Or La Sirena.
Right. So if you subscribe to this way of thinking, then there is a mist. A mist, is it right? It's a mist that comes out.
It's a mist, like a spray.
Yeah. It's like a moisture that comes out and gets you sick. Mm-hmm. So El Sereno. Hey, Michelle Quo's tuned in. She says you should definitely do a show on the Teatro Nacional. She says El Sereno. So I just El Sereno was this mist would come out and you had to wrap your neck or you get sick. What a bunch of hooey.
It will
But you
kill
know what else came out at the same time as El Sereno?
What?
Mosquitoes.
Oh, mosquitoes, man. Those guys are deadly.
Right. So it was actually the Mosquitoes in the Mist. That's a good title, huh? The Mosquitoes in the
Mosquitoes
Mist.
in the Mist. We should write a novel about that.
Yeah.
That's going to be the name of our Shorty and Slim musical, Mosquitoes in the Mist.
Mosquitoes in the
Shorty and
Mist.
Slim.
By the way, we're making a Shorty and Slim musical, and we're going to play it at the Teatro Nacional.
That's right. It's happening. 2045. Wait for it.
2045. Buy your tickets now at PanamaRP.com.
That's right. And there's gonna be it's gonna be called Mosquitoes in the Mist. I love it.
Coming 2045. Mosquitoes in the Mist.
It's gonna be amazing. Hey, but let me tell you something. Those mosquitoes are smart, man, because they're just like hanging out. They're like, Sereno time is happening. Let's go out and bite some people. And they're never gonna blame us. They're gonna blame the mist.
Yeah, exactly.
Smart, man. They're like dolphins, mosquitoes.
Yeah,
super smart.
They are. Actually, that everyone's afraid of sharks, and it's like more people die from cows than sharks. But the number one thing that kills in the whole world is mosquitoes.
And nobody hates mosquitoes. I mean, you don't like them; they're pesky, right? But you don't hate them.
Yeah, you're not like afraid of mosquitoes. It's kind of like, mosquitoes. What a nuisance.
Yeah. What a nuisance.
But then people are like, sharks, no way. And then
Yeah.
the chances of getting bit by the shark is like almost zero.
Yeah.
And if you're interested in hearing about sharks, we also had Mike Bolton on the show, who swims and photographs great white sharks. That was a super interesting show.
It was super.
And while you're scrolling, we did a show with Captain Andy, and we did a show with Luke Anderson himself, financial advisor. He flies
Robertson.
jet.
Luke Robertson.
What did I say?
Anderson.
Oh my gosh. Have another drink, Tui.
We don't know Luke Anderson, but we're sure he's a cool person, but not as cool as Luke Robertson.
Exactly.
Without a
All
doubt.
very cool. All very cool. So,
HB.
yes, sir.
So, just touching on this healing place in Taboga real quickly before we go talk about something else amazing that happened in Taboga. So, the U.S. used it until 1915. And then you know what happened in 1915? It became a vacation resort for employees and their families, and they called it Hotel Aspinwall. Hotel Aspinwall. That's crazy. And then during World War I, it became an internment camp for German prisoners in Taboga. And then afterwards, it became, again, another hub for Taboga social life until 1945. And now it is long gone. But so this location that was built by the French,
right,
was like a place of healing. Then it became a place for fun. Then it became a place to keep prisoners. And then it became a place for fun again. How wild is that, dude?
It's wild. So much history on such a beautiful island. So you've taken us through the history of the actual sanatorium.
The healing place.
You mentioned that it was used again as a healing place during the American construction era.
Yeah.
And then when the canal was opened officially, that news kind of got buried because that's when World War I had started.
Right.
So at the end of World War I, the famous General John J. Blackjack Pershing.
You know him well.
I do. I had the good fortune to play him in a TV show. We can post the link in our RapScallions. It's called the Incidente Pershing.
For sure. Historia. No, wait, that's not Historia del Canal. That is
Encuentro con la Historia.
Encuentro con la Historia. Man,
Yeah.
everything is called Historia these days.
Right? We're going to do La Historia de los Mosquitos y el Sereno.
Exacto. Sorry, please carry on.
So Pershing had come to Panama, and the events as they are unfolded in the TV show are based on a Panamanian newspaper. So while I was preparing for that role, I actually found Pershing's digitized diary of when he visited Panama. So
Right.
to make a very interesting story, as short as it needs to be for the purposes of this show,
Mhm.
he came to Panama to see the canal. And also he visited the president of Panama and said, we need to take over a majority of the island to make a military base there. And the Panamanians, they were furious about it. And according to the Treaty of Panama, any island in the Bay of Panama could be taken over by the U.S. if there was enough of a security threat. So that is actually written in the treaty, but it proved to be, very unpopular. There was riots, and Pershing, his tour was interrupted by the riots. There's several different versions of what actually happened. Some people say he got nailed with a rock. His diary says that because of the riots, he didn't even want to get into the car to go visit the president, who was having a special dinner for him at the Union Club here in Casco Viejo. So there are several different versions. But to make a long story short, he tried to he told the Panamanian government that they were going to purchase 4/5 of the island and make a military base there because the island sits right in the mouth of the canal. So from the top at Cerro Vigía, you can see straight into the mouth of the canal. And you also have a 360-degree view of all the surrounding areas. So if there was some sort of attack planned on the canal, the best place or the first line of defense would be the obvious choice of Taboga. So there was a riot. They decided to desist on taking over Taboga. But as history would have it, at the start of World War II, the Taboga became a very important military site for the U.S. military.
Yeah, and we can see the huge influence that they had on the island during that time. I think we mentioned it earlier, just the whole economic impact of it. So even though the U.S. didn't really technically, what Pershing wanted still kind of happened.
Yeah.
Right?
Indeed.
And I guess it makes sense from a security standpoint.
It does. It makes, militaristically, it makes a lot of sense. The U.S. was within their rights according to the treaty. However, as many Panamanians will point out, the treaty was signed by a Frenchman. So there's lots of good points of discussion within that history. You mentioned that it was named Hotel Aspinwall, right?
Yeah.
So that name comes from the founder of Colón, Lord Aspinwall.
Right, yeah.
And let's go back to the era of the construction of the railroad. You mentioned as well the Dia de la Sandía. We had a great show about that. Mm-hmm. Please scroll down and check it out. So in that era, let's see, the Pacific Steamship Navigation Company.
Yes, man, you read my mind, dude. Go ahead, carry on.
Oh, please. I pass the baton to you, kind sir.
Oh my God. The Pacific Steam. It's because it's not like it's amazing because you're reading all this stuff, right? And it's all coming together in your head and you're imagining how it's happening. And then you're like, whoa, now I see it. Now it all makes freaking sense, man. Yeah. Because of course you had the Pacific Steamship Company, right? The Steamship Navigation Company. And this was like what, 150, 200 years ago or so. And they were based in El Morro, which is now, overgrown with vegetation. And there's a cemetery and just a bunch of nobody lives there,
That's where gear comes from.
The who?
The gear that we saw over there.
Yes, the gear, exactly. And we were like, hey, should we go explore it? And then we were like, where are we gonna go? There's no place to walk around. There's no paths. There's nothing, right? There's nothing. So El Morro was playing such an important role in world shipping, right? So the Pacific Steamship Navigation Company from England, they had ships that were steaming from England and Pacific ports of South America. And they extended its route or route, however you want to say it, to include Panama. How is it? Is it route or route? It's route? Route.
Or route. Either way.
So anyways, So there were so many great things that they could find in Taboga, right? There were supplies, drinkable water, healthy conditions on the island. So they actually purchased El Morro in around 1840 or so, and they built workshops, a ship repair facility, supply stores, and a coaling station. And they brought Irish crews over to work in the supply base. And they had a fleet, which was of about 12 vessels, and they used it to transport passengers and cargo vessels between Valparaiso, Chile, and Isla Taboga. So, of course, this was huge, because, again, it had more people kind of traveling that way. And, of course, it influenced the island's
time of
economy.
the gold rush.
Time of the gold rush. And the gold-seeking 49ers, they discovered Taboga when they were making their trips. As we discovered, that a lot of people were waiting to take their boats over to Taboga, where they would then take their other ship to go wherever else they were going. And a lot of them stayed on the island while they were going to California. And I think even to this day, unfortunately, some of those 49ers died on the island.
From El Sereno.
From El Sereno. They weren't healed. They weren't healed at all by the other people, like the other people. And you can still see them in the cemetery, dude. Not see the people, not the people actually, but like, their graves, You'll have like, I don't know, what's a Anglo-Saxon 49er name, I guess.
John Smith.
John Smith, there you go. You'll see a grave marked John Smith, and you'll be like, yo, he was a 49er, and he died on Taboga. How crazy is that, dude? How crazy is
so much interesting
that?
And this is like just scratching the surface of the history of Taboga. So we made a little jump back to make sure that we covered the railroad era, because there's several. You try to think of Panama in a historical sense. You think of it during its waves of importance to the world. So even the formation of Panama 15 million years ago is the most important geological activity in the history of the world of modern geological era, because it cut off two oceans, it connected two continents, and it changed weather patterns over the whole world. So even at its birth, Panama changed the world. Then you have the colonial era, Spanish colonial era, when so much money was bringing gold, silver, pearls, sugar, slavery, rum was coming from South America through Panama to England and all points in between. And then you have another era, which would be the railroad era, the most successful stock in the history of the New York Stock Exchange.
I mean, that's what HB ultimately put the Pacific Steamship Company out of business, was the railroad.
Yeah.
Shut it down.
Shut it down. People have been wanting to build canals in Panama since the Spaniards arrived here. And I think it was Carlos Primero or something said, like, if God wanted a canal there, he would have put it there. And so God wanted it there.
That's an easy way to get out of doing something, man.
It is. But it's interesting, a place that geologically was closed up.
Yeah.
So many people wanted to open it up again. Yeah. And so then we come to another booming era of Panama history, and that's the French Canal era. And then that's so much history in itself.
Yeah.
A lot of unfortunately, a lot of deaths due to yellow fever and bloodborne diseases.
Yes.
And then you have the U.S. Canal era, and then you have the Panamanian Canal era. And so it's kind of an easy way to guide yourself through the different important historical landmarks of Panama.
True that, man. True that. And I think it's just, it's really incredible that all of these people, all of these nations were in some way or another involved in Panama's continuous development. I think, can you imagine if we wouldn't have had any sort of interference from anyone at all? at all, where would we be today?
Well, you and I would probably be in Europe somewhere.
Yeah, potentially.
Panama would be a land of abundant fish.
Yes, and mud
While
people.
there still are a lot of fish here, there's not as many fish as there used to be.
Mm. True that, man. True that.
So
That
let's
is really-
jump around on our press the button on the flux capacitor, Joe.
Yeah.
We're going back to the U.S. era,
Mhm.
which was around World War II, because
Yeah.
Taboga had some pretty cool incidents happening in
Dude, I
World
wanna
War
hear.
II.
I
You
want
have
to hear
any?
about that.
Can you think of anything cool that happened in Taboga during World War II involving PT boats?
Oh man, PT boats, man. So during World War II, the U.S. Navy had a mosquito boat training base, again off of El Morro. So HB, what is a mosquito boat? That really confused me. Do you know what that is?
I think it's those PT boats. They're like fast attack boats. You know that boat that they took? Have you ever seen Apocalypse Now?
Mm-mm.
No. Well, it's a
I
PT
know.
boat. Is like a
I need to see it.
three
It's classic.
or four man boat. Let me send it to the research department.
Is it like a go fast boat that the drug dealers use to get like drugs between the U.S. and the islands in the Caribbean?
Yeah, yeah. Well, on their
I've
side,
only seen it in movies.
they're using
I've only seen it in
speedboats, but
movies. I don't know.
a PT boat is a patrol torpedo boat.
Patrol torpedo boat. Huh?
Small, fast, inexpensive to build. Valued for its maneuverability and speed. Limited armament, but they're fast.
They're
So-
fast, so you can't hurt
Yeah.
them if you don't catch them.
Right. They're small. They're, as compared to, you think of a aircraft carrier, battleship, destroyer, PT boat.
Got it.
I wonder
Well,
if
they had
Captain Andy is still tuned in. He can tell us about PT boats. I'm
Yeah,
sure.
seriously, Captain Andy, let us know, man, because there was a training base for this off of El Morro. Again, I am really surprised at the amount of stuff that happened on El Morro, and now it is just like a beautiful nature reserve with just nature everywhere.
Yeah, Monte.
Yeah, monte all over the place, and the giant gear that's there. So there was a training base for that off of El Morro HB, and then it was also the site. This was very surprising. It was also the site of an attempted Japanese espionage.
Ooh.
Right, when a spy by the name of Yoshitaro Amana, who was the head of a Japanese spy ring, tried to set up a commercial business on Isla Taboga so that the Japanese could ascertain what ships were transiting the Panama Canal. That's crazy, dude. But he was discovered in a sting operation and deported back to Japan. And then, of course, they also had gun placements at strategic points on Isla Taboga and lookout points atop El Morro for the security of the Panama Canal. And I think El Morro seems to be one of these locations where even the Spaniards back in the day had weapons set up there just because of where it was located.
There is to tie into that very interesting story. There was also a historic, or not a historic, but an act of heroism out there in the island of Taboga.
Tell us.
By, if I can find the right, John F. Kennedy did his PT.
The same JFK?
Yeah.
The JFK.
Lieutenant Kennedy. I've got to find he was awarded a medal for his heroism in the handling of PT boats on and around the island of Taboga.
What? That's insane, man. That is insane.
Yeah. So all this
was happening.
All this happening on Isla Taboga. Let's see. Kennedy's transfer to the Pacific. So much information. RapScallions are here to chew it up and regurgitate it like a mama bird to its little
That's right.
info.
That's right.
Info.
That's right. Yeah, man.
So let's see. In January of 1943, PT 101 and 4 other boats were ordered to motor torpedo boat squadrons. I don't know what that means. But I do like their call sign, RON14, rum.
Nice.
Yeah.
14-year-old rum. That's delicious.
Yeah, I love it. There we go. Kennedy was a lieutenant.
Uh-huh.
And he diverted his assignment to Panama. So he did his trainings in Panama, and
wasn't it that he like saved someone and he blew his like shoulder out of its socket or something?
Yeah, he there was some kind of act of heroism that had happened while he was in Panama at Taboga, and he injured himself and was later given a medal for it. JFK in Taboga. Bet you guys didn't even know that.
Hey man, hey HB, you know what I also heard? I heard that Bill Clinton, he honed his saxophone skills on the pier in Taboga back in the 70s. He would play his saxophone into the night, lulling people to sleep.
I did not know that.
No, that's a lie. That's fake news. Fake news. Fake news alert.
Carina Weber is asking, is there a trail that takes you all around the island?
I think I don't know if there's a specific trail, but you could potentially, no, because the back part of the island is like, you can't walk there. Yeah,
it's like rainforest. If there's not a trail, most of the trails are for specific locations, like Cerro La Cruz, and then you have Cerro Vigía, which is right in the middle of the island. Then you have trails for Tres Cruces, which is kind of halfway up.
El Hobo Beach, you have that trail that we walked.
The trail to El Hobo. Yeah, you can. So there isn't a specific trail to take you all around the island. You can walk it. It would require, maybe some machete skills. You need gear to do it. Some of the trails we heard weren't being kept up, but I think that they're working on that.
Yeah, I think, and especially from what we saw when we went around the island, because RapScallions went around the island on a boat.
That's right.
The back part of the island looks like dense vegetation, man. And I think that's one of the things I asked you as we were going around was like, can we walk back there?
Yeah.
And you were like, I think we're gonna need some stuff, man.
Yeah, it wouldn't be an easy hike. It can be done though, because it's not primary rainforest. It's regrowth, and that is a protected area.
Yeah. Indeed, but hey, you can do it if you put your mind to it. You can do it. It's just definitely that there won't be a path. There won't be a path. Aquilino says Mosquitoes in the Mist playing next at the TGA. So there you go. I guess we're gonna have to battle it. I think the theaters are gonna have to battle it out with us, HB, to see who can give us what we need to be able to express the story of the Mosquitoes in the Mist.
We can take it on tour, man.
We'll take it on tour. And then we're also going to have a mixtape, the Mosquitoes in the Mist mixtape, which is going to have remixes of all the great songs that are going to be in the play.
Absolutely.
So keep an eye out for that. Mixtape coming out 2050. It's going to be amazing.
That's right. Mosquitoes in the Mist coming to a theater near you in 2050.
That's right, man. That is 100% correct. HB, man, I want to know more about the U.S. presence on Isla Taboga, and just about, the whole thing about the theater, the open air theater, the car theater. What is this thing called? The drive-in theater? Yeah, drive-in theater.
It was more of it wasn't exactly a drive-in theater. Remember, there's
no cars in Taboga. There's no roads in Taboga.
Right.
There's one road in Taboga.
That's right. There's one main central road that you can drive a car on, which we saw in our 22-kilometer trek back and forth across the island. There was one very persistent minivan
who wanted to run us over. Jesus.
Yeah. So we saw him on several occasions. So, the U.S. presence, my dad had told me another legend, and, They don't sound plausible, but I have to remember that my grandfather was a naval captain, and he was in charge of Cocosolo Naval Base in Colon. Right. And my dad got to visit the submarine bases in Colon. And then he said that there was a submarine base on the Pacific side. There was a submarine base up the coast on or around Chamico, which is, yeah. I've walked that whole area, and I've found I saw some metal railing. That's about it. But after World War II, supposedly they blew it up. And another one of the legends that he told me, military-wise, was that there was a tunnel, an underwater tunnel that went from Amador all the way to Taboga.
What?
And I don't think that that's even feasible, but he got to see all kinds of cool stuff because his father was a military commander of a naval base down here in Panama.
I mean, how deep is how deep do you think it gets between?
It's probably just impossible. I don't know. It's possible that I misunderstood him,
Right.
But he was right about the pineapples. He was right about the submarine base in the Atlantic. There's no documentation I've been able to find about the submarine base on the Pacific side.
Right.
But that one seems a little just implausible. I mean, or unfeasible. Just like you said, as we went out on the boat, it's great fishing, and usually great fishing goes hand in hand with deep water. Right.
That's true. So, I mean, to build a tunnel underwater that you can drive in.
You said you could drive a Jeep.
That'd be wild. If that tunnel is around, I would like to see it. Though, you know what? I think knowing how I think all the installations that we saw in Taboga have been managed, I bet there's like a bunch of like piedreros living in that tunnel.
Yeah. A bunch of rocks live in that tunnel. I think it was completely collapsed.
Oh man, because remember all the bunkers that we saw, and they're all locked. Could you imagine how beautiful it would be if there were like proper tours of all of these bunkers, and you could like not experience it obviously, but see what was happening in these bunkers back in the day, and learn the history of the bunkers and why they were there and what they were used for, blah blah blah.
For sure, there's excellent tourism potential. All those old World War II bunkers. And Panama has, per hectare, the most airfields of any country in the world because of World War II.
Right.
The U.S. had felt the threat to the canal during World War I, and during World War II, they really went above and beyond in what they considered necessary for the protection of the canal. And in my opinion, that is what kind of started the souring of the relationship between the canal, the Zonians, the U.S. military, and the Panamanian people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because of the sort of like,
in World War II, they just completely took over the country. And there's a story of where the Panamanian president was driving, and there's an airfield in Rio Hato that cuts across the Pan American Highway. They used to have a gate there. Yeah. And the Panamanian president drove up, and he's like, I want to cross. And the young guard's like, you can't cross. I don't care who you are. And he's like, well, actually, I'm the president of Panama. He's like, you still can't cross. And then I think everything went south.
Wow. He was like the president of Panama, my grandma's sweet patootie.
Right.
You're not coming through here. Man, that's crazy, dude. You would think they'd be like, have a picture, be like, if this guy tries to cross, let him cross.
Yeah.
Just this guy.
Yeah. There's what yeah. Hindsight's 2020, right?
Truth. 100.
Yeah.
100.
So what else do we have on memory lane? We're talking about the military presence in Taboga and what was life like. I think when we were walking around, we kind of talked about it. Like the U.S. tends to bring movie theaters and soccer and football and sports and rest and relaxation to the island. So it's not hard to conceive the level or the money that was put into Taboga by the U.S. military to make it a nice place to be during World
For
War
sure.
II. Yeah.
For sure. I mean, you had the Hotel Aspinwall. Well, no, during World War II, it was used to house prisoners. I mean, like German prisoners, but afterwards,
That's
seems like it
wild.
was
We need to
really
look into that and see
cool
if we can
place.
find some more stories.
I mean, the remnants of it or something, or where were they kept? How were they kept? Was
Yeah.
it nice? I don't know. I mean, I'm guessing if you can then turn a prisoner camp into a hotel for social activities, it must have been pretty good, right?
Yeah, was there like Hitler was here, you know?
I know, man. He etched it into the walls, man. HB, but I think one of the things that we haven't touched upon, which seems pretty interesting to Taboga, was the whole religious aspect of
Oh,
Taboga.
yeah.
And there's like two key stories,
Oh,
man,
yeah.
that we can touch upon. Because of course, I think ultimately, there's a lot of like extreme people out there. I mean, ultimately, I think religion, I guess, when whoever created religion, they were trying to
Keep
make
digging that hole, dog.
I know. I'm just digging. It was about peace, right? It was about peace.
Right. About
It was
loving your neighbor.
About loving your neighbor and helping
being
each other.
kind.
Being kind to each other. At least that's the way I try and see it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know there's a lot of people out, particularly the Spanish, when they were conquering everything, they were like, it is my God-given right to kill all these people in Peru.
God tells me that murdering you is okay.
Exactly. So, I mean, depending on how you interpret religion should be about peace and love and loving each other. So, in Taboga, one of the things that we noticed when we were on the island was that religion plays a key role in the island.
Huge.
And how it operates. And we could hear it. I think it felt like every 15 minutes, HB, we're hearing people praying over speakers.
Right? It happens at 12 noon and at 3 o'clock, where you,
Exactly.
you read the rosary over loudspeaker.
Yeah.
So while we were walking around, and everyone has a Virgen del Carmen, statue
all over the island. It's incredible. If you've never been to Taboga, like, it's very surprising to see how many, virgencitas there are all over the island.
And the reason why is that the first saint in the Western Hemisphere was conceived, which the odd choice of words is that her parents conceived her on the island of Taboga was Santa Rosa de Lima. So the first saint was from Taboga, or her parents were from Taboga.
Yeah. So it actually could have been Santa Rosa de Lima or the Virgen del Carmen that we were seeing outside of people's homes. Because I guess if you look at an image of Santa Rosa de Lima, you could confuse her for the Virgen del Carmen, just because, she is dressed in the way that the typical image that you would imagine of the Virgin Mary, right? So Santa Rosa de Lima, from Taboga, what up, representing Taboga, but then they moved to Peru, right?
Exactly. And she took her extreme faith, or her devout faith, to Lima, Peru, and that's where she did her work that garnered her the sainthood.
Because she really cared about the sick, the lame, and the suffering. They all came to her for comfort and for guidance and salvation. And supposedly, HB, you can still see that house in Taboga today. I don't remember having seen it, but I think I think
we missed it. If we'd have walked 23 kilometers instead of 22, we would have seen it.
Exactly, I'm sure. And then this next story, HB, is the one that I think is the most wild, because it totally reminds me of the story of Santa Librada in Las Tablas. And this is the Virgen del Carmen battling pirates, okay? So according to Tabogan, myth, legend,
I didn't know
whatever,
about this one.
Yeah, whatever you want to call it, man. There was a pirate ship locked and loaded, ready to attack the island, right? So the pirates, they were coming. They reached the shores of Isla Taboga, and they were ready, man. And when they got there, they met an enormous army, face to face, just there, hey, pirates, you guys want some? Come and get it. And according to the legend, the army was headed by a beautiful woman. So the pirates, they were like, what the fudge? And they ran away. So the residents of Taboga, they were convinced that it was the Virgen del Carmen who saved them. And every year on the 16th of July is when they feel that the Virgen del Carmen blesses the float of ships of Taboga. I don't know, man. I don't know any of the pirates that were there that day, but I don't know, man. Crazy stuff happens.
Amazing story. Yeah. So
I don't know.
They have their own Joan of Arc type situation there.
Truth. I mean, that's crazy, right? You have all these pirates like, yeah, we're gonna take you guys down. We're gonna boom, 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 and then all of a sudden you see this army, and you're just like, and then I guess in this army there weren't any of the residents. The residents were not in this army. It was just like a bunch of people that were manifested there by La Virgen del Carmen. I don't know, man. I don't know. I guess we're gonna have to look for that for them too as well when we go next time.
Well, that's the Virgin Mary or the Virgen del Carmen. I think I just want to make that point is in Latin American theology. They tend to worship the Mother or the Virgin Mary more than they worship Jesus, which is a more pagan approach, because the pagan approach is to venerate the woman. So there are other anecdotes in Panama history that lead us back to Vasco Núñez de Balboa, and he had a particularly vicious fight with some of the Indians in Panama, and he swore to the Virgin Mary that if they won that battle, that he would found a settlement and name it after her, and that's the town of Virgen del Carmen de la Antigua in Darien.
Right.
And that's where a young military officer, Pizarro, that's the first encounter between Balboa and Pizarro happened in that town. But later, that settlement was abandoned and moved to Panama City, and it was officially got its doctrine from the King and Queen of Spain to be an official city, and that was in Panama City. Oh, that was so horribly said. But if you want to know more about it, listen to our Calypso song that we wrote called Panama City.
It seemed that you were singing the song, but just without the instrumental behind
it. Thank you. Very kind words, Joe.
It was beautiful. Very, very poetic.
Wow. It's called a tongue lash. Here we got a Jimmy Groom. Richard Groom has chimed in. He says, Indian gold is rumored to be buried on Morro Island, possibly in an old burial ground, and pirate gold in the caves and hidden spots in the mountains. During the gold fever in California, an English company set up a sawmill on Taboga to repair ships in transit to the U.S. West Coast. Very interesting. And that brings up a story that I've forgotten to mention, is that we were talking about Henry Morgan staying on the island. La Restinga, the sandbar between El Morro and Taboga Island. To all those that have been there, they know that at high tide, there's water there, but at low tide, there's a big sandbar there, and the pirates would use that as a dry dock. They'd take their ships, and then as the tide would go out, they would prop the ship up with timber, and then be able to do the repairs on the boat, and hopefully get it done in time before the tide came back in. That's some good legend there, Jimmy Groom. Thanks for chiming in.
That's crazy.
We walked 22 kilometers. Maybe if we walked 24 kilometers, we might have found some gold.
Maybe, man. Maybe. I know next time we got to go with metal detectors and whatever have you, and spend an entire day just like boop, 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 all over that place.
It's true. Then, and if had we found gold, Joe, I think the best thing to do with that gold would have been to invest it, because the right time to make an investment is right now. If you hold off, it's not going to be too late. But look at the graphic here provided by Luke Robertson over at Edward Jones. What a difference 3 years can make. You can see that just by waiting 3 years, it could change the value of your investment. And here's another graphic by Edward Jones. Let me see if I can find the button here. 1 second, please. If you're saving for retirement, when you start can change how much you'll make. So let's say that you want to have $1 million by the time you're 65. Look at your monthly payments that you're making. If you start when you're young, then you're looking at paying about $450 a month, $405 a month if you start at age 25. If you wait till you're 40, then you're looking at a monthly investment of $1,277. So the right time to invest is right now. And if you need help with that investment advice, you need a solid financial advisor. And we recommend Luke Robertson. Call him up at 757-481-0023 or write him an email at luke.robertson@edwardjones.com. He'll set you up, man. He'll set you up big time.
True that, man. Dude, you know what? I'm beginning to think that I'm never going to have $1 million. So maybe I got to call Luke Robertson to see how I can do to get $1 million. Because right now, I'm just hoping somebody says, hey, RapScallions, I'm going to give you each $1 million. And then we'll be like, yo, I got $1 million.
That's true. And if you're out there listening to this and you have that urge, DM us, man. Direct message. Yeah. We'll gladly take that $1 million off your hands and do lots of research and turn it into incredible shows based about Panama, the Canal Zone, and any points of interest in between.
And of course, we'll call Luke Robertson so he can help us out, so we can invest that $1 million.
That's right.
And turn it into more millions of dollars.
We do. If you go to PanamaRP.com, we've got a button there for Patreon. We got a button there for Buy Me a Coffee or Ko-Fi. Instead of buying a coffee this week, why don't you shoot that $5 our way? We'll make good use of it, I promise.
True story, man. And also, while you're at PanamaRP.com, feel free to pick up some merch.
Show them that tote, man. I use that tote so much. I'm so happy.
This is a quality tote. I think it's waterproof on the sides, not at the top because it doesn't have a lid, but just, keep it shut. But on the sides, you're not going to get water on there. You can carry all your cool stuff on there. You can also get a sweet shirt like the one HB has, like the one Sue Norman has. So many people have quality shirts. Quality shirts, you can wear that. RapScallions with pride. When you're walking around, they're going to be like, hey, what's that? You'd be like, I'm a fam scallion.
Fam Scallions.
Fam Scallions, man. Hey, and if you're a Fam Scallion and somebody tries to mess with you, HB and I will go over there and punch them in the face.
That's right. Nobody messes with Fam Scallions. We'll break their thumbs. We'll stop by the church in Taboga, get blessed, and then go over and conquer whoever bothers you.
Yeah, we will conquer them in a peaceful way. Because we don't believe in war.
Yeah, one love.
That's right, one love.
So, we're in the last 7 minutes of the show. So much history about Taboga. I don't think we missed any of our key points that we did during our research. Again, hint, hint, we were out there on Friday, so there's big things to come. Stay tuned to RapScallions because Taboga is going to be our main point of interest in things come in the future.
In things to come. We're going to do something fantastic with Taboga. I think Taboga right now is an island that has a lot of potential. If you haven't visited and you want to visit it, you should go visit it. It's only 20-25 minutes away from the city. You get there super fast. There's plenty of places to stay. There's plenty of places to eat. It's just a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful place, man. Rich in history. So many trails. We walked in so many trails. I think our biggest problem was potentially that we were not dressed as one would dress to walk the trails. I was sweating, man. I'm a sweaty man. And I was like, wiping sweat off my brow the whole time.
I didn't have time to sweat. I was like, we got to find those frogs.
Yeah, HB was looking for frogs. I was sweating. It was crazy.
We had a good time.
And our team was just like, we're wearing jeans. We're not hot. What's wrong with you? And
I was like, the team is amazing. Those guys are troopers.
True that.
One thing we did mention is how to get to Taboga. There's a few ferry services that you can catch from Amador. We left from
Ferry.
La Playita. There's a
That's right.
fast boat, and then there's a regular boat. That'll.
There's
We do
Taboga
have quick-
Express Fast Ferry is the fast one, yeah.
Mhm.
That's the one you were talking about, and that one is sort of like a catamaran looking thing. And you take that one, and that one should get you there in like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. I've taken that one on a couple of occasions. I proposed to my wife in Taboga. We took the catamaran fast ferry thing. It was cool, beautiful.
Yeah.
And then the other
We
one's like
walked
the
there.
Calypso. We did. We walked over to where if you guys are planning a proposal, Taboga's a beautiful place to do it, man. Because overlooking the city, and you just thought like, hey girl,
you
want to get married, girl? That's basically what I did, was do that. I went, hey girl, you want to get married, girl? I had hair when I proposed, so my hair was all in the wind, like HB's luscious, beautiful hair.
Oh, you know what we didn't mention?
What's that?
The island of flowers. We didn't talk about the flowers.
Oh, snap. We just mentioned the fruits.
Yeah, delicious fruits, but also the luscious flowers. So as you're walking through the beautiful town of San Pedro, you're going to see the tropical painted houses and the beautiful ornamental flowers everywhere. And then you're just the different trails that you take, you'll see orchids and whatnot. So it's called the Island of Flowers for a reason, and it's very quaint, very beautiful.
Yeah, it does not disappoint at all.
No, at all.
It does not disappoint. Which is the other ferry system you can use? I think there's one that's called like Calypso Queen or something.
Yeah, that's Calypso in the name. I can't find it.
Can't find it anywhere, man. So use the Taboga Express, man. RapScallions recommends using the Taboga Express because we can't find the other one on the internet.
Yeah. So the main place to take off, you go to La Playita. They have a La Playita in Amador. That's by the Smithsonian. And you can here it is, the Calypso Queen.
There you go.
And the Taboga Express. There we are.
There you go.
All right,
so
so
RapScallions
Taboga
recommends
Express.
either the Taboga Express or Calypso Queen.
That's right. Excellent choice. Of the two, we recommend those two.
That's right.
So
That's right.
the Taboga Express, I finally found the site. I have so many tabs and open, it's a little overwhelming, but $20 round trip for Taboga, $10 there, $10 back. And if you want to go on the Calypso ferry, it's $14. Special rate for the children's, $9.50. Children's. That's on the
wonderful.
Calypso. Yeah, if you want to take your kids with you, let's see. Taboga Express Fast Ferry is for adults $20, children $14. Panamanian Retired, the Jubilado discount is $14. If you want to take your pup with you, $5. Take your pup.
Yo, my pup loves the beach.
Yeah, extra baggage. We're not talking about psychological baggage here. We're talking about another bag. It's $5. And then on the Calypso ferry, you have adult fares are $14 for the grown-ups, $9.50 for the children's, $9.50 for the jubilados, $5 for pup, and $5 for the extra bag. Do you think the ghost dog of El Morro pays $5, or maybe he's got a special pass?
I think he has a special pass, man. Though knowing him, I think he probably gives him the $5 just because he knows it's hot.
Yeah, it's hot. Ghost dogs, they understand, man.
They understand. They're like, hey, have these $5, man. I don't need it. I'm a ghost dog.
Ghost dog.
I
find all this money floating around. People drop it when I scare the shit out of them.
Hey, man, I think Ghost Dog has access to all that pirate booty, man. We're all like, oh, where is it? He's like, it's right here. Got it.
Yeah, he's barking, and people are running away. And what I'm saying is like, dig here.
Yeah, he's like, dig here, man. All this money. But we don't know.
I ain't afraid of no ghost.
That's where we're going to find them. Ghost Dog, we're coming for you. And you too, Fishman, Merman.
Is that all of the ghosts? There's also the duendes. People talk about the duendes.
People talk about the duendes, man.
Yeah.
People talk
And
about the duendes.
witches. There's flying witches on Taboga. Let's see. I have a list here of different scary creatures.
Next time
in
HB and I
Taboga.
go to Taboga, we're gonna spend an entire evening walking around the island at night, and we're gonna see what comes up.
Yeah. Okay. There's an old man ghost that is on the muelle.
Okay, we're gonna go
So-
see that, man.
Yeah, you go to the muelle, you throw your hand line in, try to get some fish, talk to people, drink a little cervecita, and then everyone's gone, and you're like, oh man, there's just one old man left. And you go to say hi to him, and he turns around, he's like, bleh, scares the bejesus out of you.
Does he just want to scare? Because apparently, guys, doing the whole fishing in the muelle is a very Tabogan thing.
Tabogano. Yeah.
That's all true Taboganos. So we're gonna do that, and we're gonna talk to this old man because after the initial fright, HB, I think we should be okay.
I ain't afraid of no ghost.
We'll just be like, he'll be like, "Ugh," and we'll be like, how are you?
It's like,
Tell us
have you
about your
considered
week.
a dental plan?
That's right. Do you want to invest your 401k?
Yeah, we have the person for you.
We have the person for you.
Hey, so much history in Panama. We've run right up to the limits of our show. It's 5 p.m. If there's any last minute questions out there, type now or forever hold your peace. What a great show. We had such a great time on Taboga. We can't recommend it enough, man. Panama is a treasure trove of places to visit. So full of history. My goodness. Did you know all that about Taboga before we went out there and checked it out?
I didn't, man. My mind has been blown, and I am just so. I feel like I have all this knowledge now of how different events in Panamanian history connect. That I'm just like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do.
It's overwhelming, but it's also very fulfilling. It's just everywhere you look, there's 10 great stories. Where you throw a rock and hit something with an amazing story.
Seriously, man. I think it's fantastic, dude. I feel enlightened.
Enlightened. Well, everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. Joe, can you give us our words of inspiration for this week?
Oh, man, my inspirational words this week have to do about knowledge, guys. You can never have enough knowledge. And I think if there's one thing HB and I have discovered over the past couple of weeks, over the past couple of months, is that there's always something new to learn. Just when you think you know as much as you can know, you'll always discover there's a little bit more that you can learn, or a lot more that you can learn. So just, continue to have that thirst for knowledge, continue digging, continue to make every day worthwhile. Because we just got to learn and laugh.
That's our new motto. Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
The RapScallions on that trip to Taboga, we got so enlightened that we decided to take on a new motto. It's L&L.
Mm-hmm.
Laugh and learn.
And
if you don't feel like laughing, you don't feel like learning, you can love and libate.
Love and libate. That's right.
Yeah.
There's always a word with an L that you can appreciate.
Wonderful. Beautiful words, Joe. Well done. Well done.
Thanks, man. Like lobster. You can appreciate a good lobster.
Yeah. Lager and lobster.
Lager and lobster. That's right.
Limón y langostinos.
Limón. Oh, that goes really well together, my friend. Man, we're just coming up with gold.
It's gold. Well, unfortunately, we got to wrap this show up. It was so much fun. And, just doing the research and going out to Taboga really made this show something special for the RapScallions. And we promise to bring you more in the future regarding Taboga.
Yes.
Remember, if you need financial advice, talk to Luke Robertson. If you need to laugh and learn, scroll down on our Facebook page and listen to our previous shows. I've been saying it for months. We're going to pull the audio and make it into a podcast so you can drive and listen. Mm-hmm. Remember that our main base of operations, and we say, man, I want to look at some shows, but I don't know how. You go to PanamaRP.com. That's our main base. We've got all the little buttons. We're on Instagram. You can get merch. Look at that beautiful tote. We've got buttons there for Instagram. We've got a button there for Facebook. We've got a button there for YouTube. We've got a button there for Twitter. And our biggest fan is the Mars rover. At that same place, you can buy a wonderful tote that Joe is holding up. And you can also listen to some of the music we've done. We got to put that Panama City up on there. Sue Norman says, enjoyed it all. Thank you so much, Sue, for tuning in today. Every Sunday, 3 p.m. Panama time, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Check us out next week. If you have any ideas for a future show that you'd like to see us talk about, let us know. We'd love to do that research and talk about it.
HB, or even if someone wants to be on a show with us to talk about something, let us know. We'd love to talk to you.
We love the RapScallions.
No doubt.
All right, my people. All right, my family. We're signing out for today. Much love. Much love. Go read a book. If you're too tired of looking at cat memes, Google Panama history, and you'll be overwhelmed by wonderful stories. All right, y'all. Thank you for tuning in, and have a great day.
J-O-E in the place to be. HB on the track, it's like ecstasy. Rolling a well of 7 years, what we drinking be. Trying to sling the dopest rhymes in the galaxy. Let me take a minute though and relax your mind. Sometimes these words can be hard to find. 24/7 on that daily grind. Hearing voices in my head, man, they not that kind. Cause bitches be bitching, snitches keep snitching. The world keeps turning, and I keep hitching a ride. Instead of living my life. Yo, 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 yo.
Man, when you feel hungry, don't you have to eat?
Yo, yo, pump up the volume and digest this beat.
RapScallions in the house with this lyrical treat.
When we're done with you, you're gonna ice your feet.
If the world ends tomorrow and you had one chance,
Hey, yo, would you start the move like it's your last dance?
yo, do something small in the past and present changes.
Do something now, the future rearranges.
Cause bitches keep bitching.
Yo, snitches keep snitching.
The world keeps turning.
And you start living your life instead of hitching a ride. RapScallions.